So in today's video, we'll look at typography fundamentals, mastering the art of effective typeface design. Okay, we talked about typography in element of design, that you need type, text, font to be able to write something in your design, because people are going to read what you're writing. Though even people don't read these days, people scan, but somehow when somebody is fully interested in what you're offering, they will definitely read. So you need something for them to actually read. So typography involves the selection, arrangement, styling of typefaces to enhance readability, convey meaning, and evoke emotion. Okay, the type of font you use can actually evoke some certain emotion. For example, if you look at this screen, for instance, I'm using this font, and I want to convey this feeling of modernity. Okay, modern feeling. Okay, readability. Okay, I want to enhance the feeling of. If you want something that has to do with more formal, you need something that has to do with the serif font, okay, or the sans serif font, okay. So let's look at all of that in this presentation. So we have the typeface classification. So we have the serif, we have the sans serif, we have the script, we have the display, and we have the monospace. Okay, let's look at all of them one by one. So when we talk about the serif font, these are fonts that actually have these extra edges, okay, on them. Okay, for example, the New Times Roman. Okay, when you see a font that have these extra edges, they are called the serifs. Okay, let's look at the psychology of serif fonts. Okay, they are often associated with formal and classic design, making them suitable for conveying professionalism and trustworthiness. So if you want something that has to do with more traditional, formal, maybe you're writing a letter, use fonts that are serifs in making sure that you convey that feeling of formality. Don't go and use script. The person will just throw your letter away. Let's say it's even something that to do with school education. Please go with the serif font. Those are the reason why they always say use this particular font in your project, maybe in school, because those are fonts that are portraying formal design, are classic. Okay, they convey professionalism in your work, and they also promote trustworthiness. Okay. So let's look at the sans serifs. Like I said, they are the one without the serifs. They don't have the extra edges like the serifs. Okay, example is Helvetica. We have the Montserrat, we have the Gotham, we have the Poppins. Okay, these are three fonts I'm mentioning. Okay, so the psychology behind them is that they are often used in contemporary designs and convey a more informal and approachable tone. Okay, if you want something that is modern, approachable, just something that's really serious like the serif, you can go for the sans serifs. So we have the script font. Okay, these are an example of a script font. Those ones that looks like they are twiling. Okay, the psychology behind this, that they are mainly associated with femininity. Okay, luxury, sophistication. Okay, script fonts are commonly used in wedding invitation. That's why you see most wedding invitations, you see the fonts writing the name of the couples. Those are the psychology behind them. Okay, the psychology are those things that kind of, why are you using it? Why are you using it for this particular design? You have to understand why. You see a design, somebody using a particular font. Why did they use it? It's because those are the psychology that are guiding the designer in making those choices. Okay, they also are used in fashion branding and other designs where a touch of elegance are desired. So we have the display font. Example are those ones on the screen. So the psychology behind the display font is that the display font are often used for headlines, logos, or any design element that needs to stand out and make an impact. Okay, when you're using the display font, okay, make sure that sometimes you can use them for logo design. Okay, you can use them for any element that needs to be standing, especially headlines. Okay, they are very good. The display font are really good when it comes to writing headlines. So we have the monospace. In order for you to understand the monospace, you need to understand the proportionals. The proportionals are those ones that, irrespective of the font size, they are kind of adjusted to fit in. While the monospace, they don't care. They maintain the same space. Like this space is the same as the one here, is the same here, the same here, the same here. But the proportional, they kind of adjust. This arrow is not that as wide as O. It kind of have a smaller space. You get it? So this is how even I is not as wide as O. It has a smaller space compared to the size of O. But monospace is not like that. Monospace will maintain, give me my space and let me go. It will not adjust to anybody, no matter how small you are. Your eye will have the enough room as O. It doesn't make sense. But monospace can be really useful, okay? And the psychology behind it is that they convey a sense of precision, organization, and efficiency, okay? Precision, organization, and efficiency. If you want to design that kind of, there's this design I made recently on crypto, for a crypto guy. I actually use this font because I wanted it to convey this precision, somebody that's organized and somebody that's efficient, that this platform is efficient, okay? I end up using this font for that client. So monospace fonts are commonly used in coding, okay, typewriter style design, or any application that requires alignment and uniformity, okay? Then I just mentioned geometric font, okay? The geometric fonts on their own they are made up of geometric shapes, okay? Like I said, this font that I'm currently using, the Express Grotesque, is mainly classified as geometric font because if you look at all the way they look, you can actually just create them by using basic shapes such as rectangle, triangle, square, and all of that, okay? That is how they actually are made, and I really love it. I love geometric fonts. Other example of geometric fonts are the railway font, okay? Those are example of geometric font. You may be wondering, why didn't I add it here, okay? I didn't just want to overwhelm you, but it's good you know that, okay? So we have legibility and readability, okay? Readability refers to how easily individual character can be recognized, while readability refers to how easily blocks of text can be read. So each letter can easily be recognized and each block of letters can also be read. You have to make sure that your design meets these two requirements: readability and legibility, okay? Make sure that people are seeing your design. Don't go and use create font. In fact, design is a serious business. Don't use font because it's just like it. Make sure that the message you are communicating be well passed to the audience, or else you are not communicating, you are just making noise, okay? Because graphic design is the business of communicating. In order for you to get a very good readable and legible design, you have to make sure that the typeface you are selecting meets the requirement and they are balanced, okay? Balanced, clear to read, and appropriate for the intended purpose. Use the appropriate size, okay? Don't go and use big text in place where you're supposed to use small text, okay? So line length and spacing, space your letters very well, okay? If I join these two lines together now without this space, you won't get it more clear. But having this space in between has created that clear and created that readability and legibility, okay? So we have contrast. Always make sure that you are creating contrast. Use big text on small text, and also use color to make contrast. Remember, I've talked about contrast before as a principle of design. By making this one yellow and making this one gray, you've created a contrast between this text and this one. By making this one bold and making this one not bold, you have created a contrast too. So always create contrast in your text and your design element, especially in typography. So let's look at hierarchy in typography. We've talked about hierarchy before, where we mentioned that it's simply making sure that your audience see what they need to see first, okay? Also, in hierarchy in typography refers to the organization and visual arrangement of text elements to guide the reader's attention. What do you want them to read first? What do you want them to see first, okay? So there are techniques that you can actually use to establish hierarchy. Is size, okay? Good size here is having a small text to mix up with a big one. You can see how beautiful it is. This is one of the oldest technique in making sure that your text actually stand out using hierarchy. Having a small text and having a huge one, okay? Even here you can see that we have this big text combined with these small ones, okay? Always use those contrasts in size. Then typography weight. This one is bold, this one is bolder, this one just like that, okay? By combining it here, when we have so quiet, it kind of drives the meaning so well. So loud, so quiet, okay? So use different weight of a particular font. For that's a beauty. Even as a beginner, you can use just one font to make beautiful design. Because you have all the fonts there doesn't mean you should use all the fonts of the world. You can use just one good font that have different weights to make good designs. Okay. Then we have color. I've talked about this before. We have color here. This yellow with this gray. Just by highlighting this one as yellow, it's standing out already. Can you use color to make contrast or hierarchy in your design, especially when it comes to typography? Okay, so we have alignment. Either you align things to the left. We also talked about alignment before in previous video. We have alignment, but in typography, flush things to the left. Okay, flush things to the left, or you flush it to the right. Try and avoid the middle flushing because it's not going to work well. Okay, it takes it's kind of old, kind of outdated way of designing. Okay, so always either the left or the right alignment. But if you ask me, I'll say you stick to the left alignment because it's simply the way we naturally read. Okay, because we read from left to right. That's how we've been trained over the years, so it's better. But if you're designing for somebody in the Arab country, please, the opposite should be the case. Design, flush everything to the right, to the left. Okay, this doesn't mean that all your design has to be maintaining this. There's sometimes whereby some things has to be in the middle. Okay, and I hope I'll be able to show you some examples later, but I'm not sure. So let's look at scanning, tracking, and leading. Okay, I think I need to open Photoshop here now because this is the point where I need to open Photoshop.